My name is Carol, and I am 50 years old. For 25 of those years, I was a mother, or rather, I was a shield, a bodyguard, a professional interventionist. I was the woman who ran ahead of my son, clearing the path of every obstacle, every sharp edge, every potential for pain. I was his advocate, his protector, his rescuer. I thought my job was to build a fortress around him, to keep him safe from the world. And I was good at it. I was a master architect of his safety. But at 50, I have come to a devastating realization. The fortress I built was not a sanctuary. It was a prison. And in my relentless effort to protect him from failure, I had robbed him of the one thing he needed to truly live, the strength to stand on his own. I was so focused on protecting my son that I didn't realize I was making him weak. It started as most things do with love. A fierce, primal, all-consuming love for this tiny, perfect human being. My son, Alex. He was a sensitive child. He felt things deeply. He cried easily. He was cautious, thoughtful, and a little bit anxious. And my heart, my mother's heart, ached for him. I saw the world as a dangerous place, full of sharp corners and cruel words. And I made a silent vow to him the day he was born. I will not let you get hurt. I will be your shield. And so my career as his bodyguard began. When he was 5, he was afraid of the dark. So I didn't just give him a nightlight. I slept in his room with him for a year. When he was 7, he was struggling to make friends. So I didn't just encourage him to be brave. I organized play dates. I called the other mothers. I orchestrated his social life like a military campaign. When he was 10, he was struggling with math. So I didn't just get him a tutor. I did his homework with him every single night. I practically learned long division all over again. I was his shadow, his safety net, his ever-present, all-knowing, all-fixing mother. And it worked. He was a happy kid. He was a good student. He was never in trouble. He was, by all external measures, a success. But I was the one doing the work. I was the one fighting his battles. I was the one feeling his pain. He was living in a bubble, a beautiful, safe, and completely artificial world that I had created for him. And I was the one maintaining the bubble 24/7. It was exhausting, but it was also my identity. I was Alex's mom. I was the one who could fix anything. I was the one who could make it all okay. And I was addicted to that feeling. I was addicted to being needed. The first crack in the fortress appeared when he was 16. He wanted to go on a school trip to Costa Rica, a 2-week trip with his classmates and a few teachers. And I panicked. My mind went into overdrive, cataloging all the potential dangers, tropical diseases, poisonous snakes, teenage shenanigans. I said no. I told him it was too dangerous, too far away, too unstructured. He was devastated. He said, "Mom, you don't trust me." And he was right. I didn't trust him. But it was worse than that. I didn't trust the world. And I had passed that fear on to him. I had taught him that the world was a scary place and that he was not equipped to handle it without me. He didn't go on the trip. He stayed home, safe in his bubble. And a little bit of the light went out of his eyes. The second crack came when he was 18, and it was time to apply for college. He wanted to go to a small liberal arts school on the other side of the country, a school known for its creative writing program. He had a passion for writing, a quiet, secret passion that he had nurtured in the corners of his life that I had not yet managed to control. But I had other plans. I wanted him to go to a big, prestigious university closer to home, a school with a good business program. I wanted him to be safe, to be practical, to be successful. We fought. For the first time in his life, he fought back. He said, "Mom, this is my life, not yours." And he was right, but I couldn't let go. I was terrified. I was terrified of him failing, of him being unhappy, of him making the wrong choice. So I did what I always did. I intervened. I made appointments with college counselors. I filled out his applications. I wrote his essays. I bulldozed his dream and replaced it with my own. He ended up at the big, prestigious university in the business program. He was safe. He was practical. He was successful, and he was miserable. The final devastating crack came last year. He was 24, he had a good job at a big company, a nice apartment, a steady girlfriend. He was, by all accounts, a model young man, and he had a nervous breakdown. He called me one night from his office at 10 p.m. He was crying, the same ragged, gut-wrenching sob I hadn't heard since he was a little boy. He said, "Mom, I can't do this. I don't know how. I don't know how to be an adult. I don't know how to make a decision. I don't know how to handle conflict. I don't know how to do anything without you. You never let me. You never taught me. You just did it for me. And now I'm alone, and I'm failing." And in that moment, the fortress I had so carefully constructed, the bubble I had so diligently maintained, it all came crashing down. And I saw the truth. I saw that in my desperate, loving, and completely misguided attempt to protect him from the world, I had failed to prepare him for it. I had been so focused on clearing the path that I had never taught him how to walk. I had been so focused on fighting his battles that I had never taught him how to fight. I had been so focused on shielding him from pain that I had never taught him how to be resilient. I had raised a boy, not a man. A boy who was now living in a man's world, and he was drowning. That phone call was the beginning of a long, painful, and necessary journey for both of us. He started therapy, I started therapy, and we started to talk, really talk, for the first time. And I had to listen. I had to listen to the anger, and the resentment, and the fear that had been simmering beneath the surface of our relationship for years. I had to listen to him tell me that my love felt like a cage. I had to listen to him tell me that my help felt like a judgment. I had to listen to him tell me that my protection felt like a vote of no confidence. It was the hardest thing I have ever done, but it was also the most important. And what I have learned in the last year is this: to be a good mother is not to be a shield. It is to be a trainer. It is to be a coach. It is to be the one who stands on the sidelines, not on the field. It is to be the one who says, "I know this is hard. I know you are scared, but I also know that you can do this. I believe in you." And then, and this is the hardest part, it is to let them do it. It is to let them fall. It is to let them fail. It is to let them get their heart broken. It is to let them be messy and imperfect and human, because that is where strength is forged. That is where resilience is built. That is where character is created, not in the safety of the bubble, but in the messy, beautiful, and unpredictable reality of the world. I am 50 years old, and I am learning to be a different kind of mother. I am learning to be a mother who asks, "What do you think you should do?" instead of telling him what to do. I am learning to be a mother who says, "I trust you," instead of "be careful." I am learning to be a mother who celebrates his effort, not just his success. I am learning to be a mother who sees his struggles not as emergencies to be solved, but as opportunities for him to grow. I am learning to be a mother who is not a bodyguard, but a consultant who is available for advice, for support, for love, but who does not run the company. He is the CEO of his own life, and my job is to be a member of his board of directors, not his micromanager. It is not easy. My instincts, my habits, my very DNA scream at me to intervene, to fix, to rescue. But I am learning to sit with the discomfort. I am learning to trust him. And I am learning to trust the world. And what I am discovering is that he is stronger than I ever gave him credit for. He is more resilient than I ever allowed him to be. He is more capable than I ever imagined. And he is, for the first time, truly living his own life. And I am, for the first time, truly letting him. The metaphor that has helped me the most is the metaphor of the butterfly. For a butterfly to be able to fly, it has to struggle out of its chrysalis. It has to fight and push and strain. And if you, in a well-meaning attempt to help, cut open the chrysalis, the butterfly will emerge, but it will be weak. Its wings will not be strong enough to fly, and it will die. The struggle is what gives it the strength to fly. The struggle is not an obstacle to its life. It is a necessary part of its life. For 24 years, I was the woman who kept cutting open the chrysalis, and I was wondering why my butterfly couldn't fly. I am learning to let my son struggle. I am learning to watch him fight his way out of his own chrysalis. And it is terrifying, but it is also beautiful, because with every struggle, I see his wings getting stronger. I see him learning to fly, and I am realizing that my job is not to protect him from the struggle. My job is to love him through the struggle. It is to be the one who, when he is exhausted and wants to give up, says, "I see you fighting. I am so proud of you. Keep going." This is the great paradox of motherhood. To love your child is to want to protect them from all pain, but to truly love your child is to know that pain is a necessary part of their growth. It is to know that your job is not to prevent the pain, but to teach them how to navigate it. It is to know that your job is not to build a fortress around them, but to build a fortress inside of them. A fortress of resilience, of self-confidence, of a deep and abiding knowledge that they are strong enough to handle whatever life throws at them. I am 50 years old, and I am just now learning this lesson. I am learning it late, but I am learning it. And I am here to tell you, do not make my mistake. Do not love your child so much that you rob them of their own strength. Do not be a shield, be a trainer. Do not be a bodyguard, be a coach. Do not be a rescuer, be a witness, a loving, supportive, and deeply trusting witness to the beautiful, messy, and powerful process of your child, becoming who they were always meant to be. Trust them, trust the world, and trust that the struggle is not the end of their story, it is the beginning. The phone call from my son was a rock bottom for both of us, but it was also a beginning. It was the moment that the illusion shattered, and we were forced to confront the truth. The truth was that I had failed him, not out of malice, but out of love. A misguided, suffocating, and ultimately a selfish love. Because my need to be needed was greater than my son's need to be independent. My fear of his pain was greater than my faith in his strength. And my desire to be a good mother was greater than my ability to be a wise one. In the months that followed, we began the slow, painful work of untangling our lives. He had to learn how to be an adult, and I had to learn how to be a mother to an adult. He had to learn how to make a decision, and I had to learn how to live with his decisions, even if I didn't agree with them. He had to learn how to handle conflict, and I had to learn how to let him fight his own battles, even if it meant watching him get hurt. He had to learn how to fail, and I had to learn that his failure was not my failure. It was just a part of his journey, a necessary and even a beautiful part of his journey. It was like watching a person learn to walk for the first time at the age of 24. There were a lot of stumbles, there were a lot of falls, and my every instinct was to rush in and catch him, but I didn't. I stood back, I bit my tongue, I clenched my fists, and I let him fall. And then I watched him get back up, and with every fall and every rise, he got a little stronger, a little more confident, a little more himself. He was building the muscles that I had never allowed him to develop. The muscles of resilience, of self-reliance, of a deep and abiding trust in his own ability to navigate the world. And I was building new muscles too. The muscles of letting go, the muscles of trust, the muscles of faith, the muscles of being a mother who is a safe harbor, not a cage. A mother who is a launching pad, not a safety net. A mother who is a source of unconditional love, not a source of constant intervention. I am not the same woman I was a year ago. I am a woman who is learning to find her identity outside of her son's life. I am a woman who is learning to have her own hobbies, her own friends, her own dreams. I am a woman who is learning that to be a good mother is not to lose yourself in your child, but to model for your child what it means to be a whole, complete, and self-respecting human being. And my son is not the same man he was a year ago. He is a man who is learning to make his own choices, to speak his own mind, to live his own life. He is a man who is learning that he is stronger than he ever thought he was. He is a man who is, for the first time, truly free. And our relationship is not the same either. It is no longer the relationship of a rescuer and a victim. It is the relationship of two adults who are learning to see each other, to respect each other, and to love each other, not for what they can do for each other, but for who they are. I am 50 years old, and I am a mother in recovery. I am a recovering control freak. I am a recovering micromanager. I am a recovering bodyguard. And I am here to tell you, if you are a mother who is like I was, if you are a mother who is so afraid of your child's pain that you are willing to do anything to prevent it, I am here to tell you, with all the love in my heart, stop. Stop clearing the path. Stop fighting the battles. Stop cutting open the chrysalis. Your love is beautiful. Your intentions are pure. But your strategy is flawed. You are not protecting them. You are weakening them. You are not preparing them for the world. You are disabling them for it. The greatest gift you can give your child is not a life free of pain. It is the unwavering belief that they are strong enough to handle the pain. The greatest gift you can give your child is not a life free of failure. It is the knowledge that failure is not the end of the story. It is just a chapter. The greatest gift you can give your child is not your constant intervention. It is your constant, unwavering, and deeply trusting love. A love that says, I see you, I believe in you, and I know with every fiber of my being that you've got this. That is the love that builds a fortress inside of them. That is the love that gives them wings. That is the love that sets them free.